Okay, so let's get started. So, welcome to SEO Sly podcast. This is my SEO podcast. This is our weekly interview with SEO experts from all around the world. Today, I'm having Joseph Khan, and I'm very happy to have this guest because this is a really special guest. You will be amazed about what he's doing and what he's into. So, Joseph, hi, Joseph. I'm very, very happy to see you here.
I'm super excited to be here. Super excited.
Me too, me too. Okay, so if there is someone who doesn't know who you are, what you do, can you like briefly introduce yourself so that people will get to know you yourself?
Yeah, so on that, you see there's an S in there. There's a famous Joseph Kahn already in existence. He's the DJ producer for Britney Spears and all these other people.
Oh,
So that name is very tough to deal with from a competitive SEO standpoint. So that's why the S is in my name. So Joseph S. Kahn, I'm on every social. So YouTube / Joseph S. Kahn. That's my channel. Twitter / Joseph S. Kahn. Go on and on and on from Facebook to everything. Joseph S. Kahn is all my accounts. That's how you can find me on social. But I also have a page where I offer up a free harmonic ranking cheat sheet. We may talk about harmonics in this call. Is at
definitely.
josephskahn.com. So
Mm-hmm.
josephskahn.com is where you can go get that for free. And then my bio link that has all those things that's really easy is bio.josephskahn.com.
Okay.
So
Okay.
bio.josephskahn.com or josephskahn.com, and you opt in there, you'll get all those also. So that's all the ways of finding me. Or I think you can even Google Joseph S. Kahn, and I may show up around there. So
And have you been to Jason Barnard's podcast yet?
I am going to be a guest on his podcast on November 15th.
Okay,
So
so a
maybe
shout
this
out
is a
to
shout out for
Jason.
that.
Jason, yeah, and he'll
Shout
tell you
out to
everything.
Jason. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about harmonic branding your SERPs on his show on November
Oh,
15th. So yeah,
okay. And today we're going to talk about this as well.
right.
Okay, so if you can tell me a little bit more about your experience in SEO, digital marketing, where did you start? What did you do before? Is it like something you've been doing for your whole life, or like tell me everything?
So to start from the beginning, I started in 1994.
Oh,
And it was so back with the first book, I went to something that's no longer around, which is called Borders Books and Music. It used to be a bookstore here in the US. I basically was a warehouse guy. I did packing and shipping boxes in a warehouse. And one of our bosses came up and said, "Hey, we need a web page. Does anybody know how to do a web page? Like, these manufacturers are saying." This is back in 1994. Does anybody know how to put up a page or a web page or whatever in the warehouse? And I'm like, let me learn. I want to learn. I want to do it. I hate this warehouse stuff. Let me figure this out. Let me learn. And so I literally went to a bookstore and got an HTML book that was this thick. Like, it was,
oh,
if it hit your desk, it would make your desk collapse. That's how big this HTML book was. So I got this book and I literally created, and the page today is still in existence. The page that I created in 1994,
oh,
they still have and still ranks for casters and wheels that I created back in 1994. Um, because back in 1994, I built it with all of, it probably has the best HTML, uh, how do you say it, certification. It literally is great HTML because it follows all the rules of the book, because it really was created from the HTML 1.0 book. And I know HTML has gone through there. So that was my first web page. And literally, once that web page went live, everybody that I knew in the world asked me. A pool and spa company, a company that had a barber shop down the street, everybody's like, "Can you do a web page for me? Can you do a web page for me?" And instantly I was a web developer. Like,
mm-hmm.
in 1994, I went from warehouse worker to web developer just from somebody saying, "Do you know how to do a web page?" And literally, I started doing that in 1994. And I was a rock drummer too. That's what I spoke at SEO Rockstars last year, and they had me on stage as a rock star. I was playing drums at a concert, and now I'm doing some web development. And one of a person that I was in a previous rock band with happened to be at that concert. Said, "I'm now working for Microsoft, and we are thinking about really getting into this internet thing. Are you interested? Do you know anything like that?" And I'm like, "I am doing that right now. I'm doing web development right now." I instantly went to work for Microsoft in 1997 to become their first web guy. Literally, I was
Wow.
like, they called me Spidey, like for Spider-Man. And I started and built a team of over 60 people in Atlanta doing web development, ASPX development. And my first project in Atlanta in 1997 won the Microsoft Project of the Year for Cox Communications. And a lot of people in the United States
Wow.
will know who Cox Communications is. So that's me. This is this rock guy who's a warehouse worker who's now all of a sudden working for Microsoft and building
Yeah.
applications that Cox Communications was running through their organizations. And so I won an award there. And then John Maxwell, who's a well-known leadership expert in the world, saw me, met me, hired me away from Microsoft in the year 2000 to become his CIO, CTO. And I took him online, ranked him for #1 in leadership in the beginning of Google and all that kind of stuff, and worked for him from the year 2000, 2005, built his club, did all that. So I was in e-commerce and launched John Maxwell, and we did clubs of $250,000 a month. We did multi-million-dollar launches. And then after that, in 2005, I started my own company, which was IT Manager Success University, because I was a CIO. So I launched an info product, digital club, all that kind of stuff for IT managers. And then I quit all that and gave it all up to Bitcoin in 2013.
Oh.
And made a lot of money with Bitcoin and decided to go back to music school. And so and then the pandemic hit and said I need to get back into business, and here I am.
Okay. Yeah, that's a
So I
fascinating
know that's
story.
a long journey, but basically during the pandemic, and I think I told you this in another call we had, everybody from Moz to Blue Array Academy to SEM Rush, they were giving away free training, free certifications, that kind of stuff. So my now CEO partner, he asked me, he said, "Hey, what are you doing right now in the pandemic? Because you can't play music, you can't go in the clubs, everything's shut down. What are you doing right now?" I'm like, "I'm not doing anything." He's like, "Let's go into SEO. Let's do an SEO business." And I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, we could make millions of dollars." That's what he said. "We could make millions of dollars in an SEO business." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "You remember that digital marketing stuff you used to do?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, a lot. I love it. Yeah, it's great." He goes, "Let's do that for SEO." I'm like, "Okay, cool." He goes, and so literally, I'm like, "Well, so we got to learn this. Like, how do we figure this out?" And that's where you were in the mix of figuring out, because you had some great beginner resources. Where are all the places to figure it out? Well, all these companies from Moz, they're not free, but back in the pandemic, they were all free. Blue Array Academy certification done free. These $2,000 certifications, things like that, they were giving them away in the pandemic because of the pandemic for free. I got 20 of them.
Wow.
Like we literally, so me and my partner were challenging each other. Did you do this one? Did you do that one? And there were several in the industry, from Chris Latterby to some other people that I got to know, that were then starting to challenge. We were challenging each other on who could get the most certifications or who could do the most things. So that's what I started doing. And our first SEO client was Chuck Jones, who is Bugs Bunny, well known because of I was a previous guy back in the day with John Maxwell or whatever. So I had contacts when we first went into the SEO business. I already had some people to reach out to and say, "Hey, do you need help?" And Chuck Jones was our first client. So all of this knowledge, all of this SEO knowledge, we applied to Chuck Jones. We literally said, we got to practice, and we have characters, episodes, clothing, apparel, artwork, paintings, local business, local galleries. Like we had every SEO test with this one client that you could possibly put yourself through. Meaning the practice So we created courses after courses after courses on a live client. And that's where SEO Power Suite course came from, was using SEO Power Suite on chuckjones.com and showing how to take all these projects and do that. There's a whole course on that on YouTube that you can find on my channel for SEO Power Suite that literally shows how we went through that process on Chuck Jones.
Wow.
So
That's
we
amazing.
created the certification. So then we ended up creating the certification for Schema, for Rank Ranger, for a couple of things because we learned it so well. We went through all of it. We learned it. We applied it. I talked to some of the guys in Rank Ranger where we were literally testing week after week, getting real rich results using Schema as we learned it in class on chuckjones.com. Literally, we were showing that it actually worked like we said it would work in the training and show it work in real time live. There was one setting, it was so funny, where live in real time, we're hitting refresh and going, I don't know if it's going to work. And it worked like right live on the screen. It's like, whoa, look at this. We're not telling lies here. This is all true. And because you always feel in the back of your heart, I always feel like maybe this won't work for other people, or maybe this won't work, but we are like, no, it's working. Look, it's working.
So in 2 years,
these ranking factors work. Yeah.
So in 2 years, in 2 years and a half, you learned SEO, you took 1,000 courses, and you started creating your own courses and certifications.
Yes.
That's amazing, really.
It is. It is crazy but at the same time, I'm a zealot. I'm one of those guys who goes in like full force into something, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not the average person that just, go, oh, SEO, oh, that would be nice to know. I'm a researcher in my genetics. So if you go learn SEO, I'm going to dissect it to much like you, like you're very much like that, and that's what I loved about you when I first saw your material, is that you dissected it and you went so deep and you had like 117 reasons why you shouldn't do something. I was like, I need to know all 100. I was memorizing your charts,
Wow,
nice. Your charts were like cheat sheets for me.
Yeah, I really like, if I start writing an article, I sometimes plan it to be like 2,000 words, and it ends up being like 10 or 1,500. So
oh yeah. So your guides and your information was very helpful a year ago or whatever when you first started out. It's like, this is awesome. Like everything that you produce. Yeah, because that's why I was always like chatting with you, because it's like everything you were coming out was like, this is exactly what we need, because you made it so easy and simple, because a lot of people make SEO super complicated and difficult. And in reality, that's what we honed into with our company. All of this knowledge that we learned, like all these certifications, all this stuff, we're honing in on like 5 main, what we call harmonics. Only 5, like not hundreds of thousands or 200 or thousands, although we agree there are thousands of things you can do on your website, if not more. Like I always look at it like this, like imagine there's a lot of websites. How much out there would you say is homegrown or homemade? How much homegrown or homemade SEO or websites are out there?
I have no idea.
A lot though, right? Like a lot. Like if you would think about it, maybe 70% of all the websites out there are made by somebody that's not a professional. So imagine all the cars on the road that are homegrown and not made by a professional, what that would look like and be like.
Yeah.
That's the internet right now. You got all this unoptimized junk going all over the place, crashing into each other, causing all these problems, causing all these accidents. That's the equivalent. Meaning if we didn't have professionals, so the internet needs optimizing, because you've got junks all over the place. The internet is full of junk. It's like cardboard houses everywhere.
Yeah, you're right. So
are there thousands of things that we can fix on a half-made? Like if I went to a house that was made by me and I made the plumbing, the electrical, the roofing, the everything, that would be the worst house you could ever live in. Because I'm not a professional on any of those things, right? I'm not a professional. That's SEO. There are
Okay.
people that aren't professionals or aren't learned or don't know what they're doing, and they're making houses and making businesses and making stuff and wondering why it's not working.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we got there to harmonics. Tell me, what are your harmonic rankings? Like digital harmonic marketing strategy? How? Because I guess this is your thing, right? This is the term you created.
Yeah, because of I'm trying to coin this phrase only because harmony is what we're after in business and teams and SEO, meaning when things are working together and in harmony, when things are working in harmony. And I really it struck me because I'm a musician, I'm a drummer, I've been in a signed rock band, I went to Berklee College of Music. And so so knowing when things are working from rhythm, things are going in the right rhythm, things are going in the right harmony, it sounds well, people are happy, it creates moods, it creates experiences. That's the same. It struck me. It's like when I was learning, going through the SEO instructions or whatever, it struck me that this is the same. Everything's the same, meaning all the SEO. So I wanted to know, what are the main notes? If I was building a great chorus, I wouldn't start with the cymbals in the back of the room. A lot of people start their SEO experience with the cymbals or the maracas or the tambourine. If you're creating harmony, you don't start there. You start with, what are the main notes? Give me the main note. What key are we playing in? We're playing in the key of C. That's your keyword set. That's your primary thing. That's we need to know what we're going to harmonize around, right? That's the intention. Are we writing a love song? Are we writing a motivational angry song? What kind of song are we writing? Same for SEO. Who's going to be listening to the song? That's how we harmonize. So you start with that harmony is, who's listening? Who's this for? What genre is this for? Where, you know what I mean? That's the same process as going through your keyword ranking process, is thinking, I'm writing a song, right? So the first is the harmony of, what is your keywords? What's the intentions? What's the ideas? What's that song that you're writing around? Once you have that song, once you have that piece in the center of your music, then you go, from that song, what are the things that go around that song? Meaning, what are the things that we need that will make that come to fruition? You could go, well, we need a title of the song. We have kind of what the song's about. It's about this love story. It's about, in our case, it's about selling a painting about Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck. Okay, so we know what the song's about. Now we have to get a title. Right? So title is pretty dang important when it comes to the chord of SEO, is it not?
Yeah.
You screw up the title, you screw up the ranking. That is like the next piece of the chord. The first piece of the chord is your keywords and your intention and what the chord is. The next piece of the chord is, what's the title of the song? People will go to a concert if they know the title of the music. If they don't know what the songs are about, they're whatever. Or the name of the band. People will go see something just from the name, the title. So the title is super duper important. That's the next thing. Now, the next thing after that is, what does it look like? What's the image? What's that main thing that I want to see? That's the next one. Like that next image, the first image, the alt text on that image and the title and the keywords on the thing, that's in the main chord. Like, that's the main chord. Most people miss this. Like, I do these reviews on web pages all the time, and I'm like, your title, what were your keywords? They're like, oh, well, I just wrote it out of, whatever. I'm like, so you didn't come up with keywords. That's why it doesn't rank. Okay, so now you have keywords. Well, let me see your title. Your keyword's not even in your title. Well, the title's good, right? No, the title is not good, because you will not rank unless your keyword's in the title. Like, that's a duh. Like, why didn't? Okay, so now where's your, let me see your image. Let me, and you can have easy plugins that will show all three of these things super fast. Let me see your image alt text. Is your keyword in your image alt text? No. Why not? Oh, because I thought that Google wants me to write it for blind people. Yes, but we're also trying to rank this too. You know what I mean? Like, yes, blind people can also understand keywords. Like, so put the keyword in your first image. That's the main chord. Okay. And everything from there is adding tambourine, adding maracas, like your table of contents, the amount of keywords. But again, what I always tell everybody in my training is that we're not competing against Google. Google is the auditorium. Google is the stage. That's what Google is. So we're not competing against them. Okay, so we're not trying to go against them or work against them. They're amplifying us. Okay, they are our stage. You and I were talking about, I was going, there's no reason why I'm ranking for this super competitive keyword. And I'm not now, by the way, because I said it's going to go away. And it did eventually go away. But when you and I talked, I was ranking for the super above Neil Patel. And I was like, why is this happening? Because I was hitting all the harmonics correctly. Now, there are other factors that have staying power, meaning if you want the band to be good, it's got to be good. It's got to have staying power, right? That's also in the music. The music has to have staying power. And how do you have staying power? You have other harmonics blended in, from adding video to other elements to adding schema to creating the symphony. That's what we do when we think about content. Is since we're looking at the auditorium and going, people are leaving the auditorium. Why are they leaving? Because you're not providing what they need for this content. Oh, really? Well, yeah, this content you're playing right now is a symphony, and you're only providing a banjo and a guitar player. That's why you're not going to stay. That's why people aren't going to stay. You need to add some more elements to this. You need to add more elements to this, more alt images, more headers, more content, more bullet points, meaning you study the symphony. You study. So your competitor is who's playing, who's headlining, who's under you, and who's on top of you. That's who you're studying. Led Zeppelin didn't become on top until they went to the club and said, who's headlining? How do we beat them? Who's headlining? And they saw that the headliner was crashing their guitar on the stage. They were bashing their guitar on the stage. That's what they saw. And so Zeppelin said, well, we're going to set everything on fire. And they set everything on fire, and they headlined from that point forward. Now, does that make sense? That's called setting the bar. And that's looking at your competitor going, how can I do what they're doing, but better?
Okay.
If my competitor, that's all you're doing.
Yeah.
The Led Zeppelin principle of SEO. You learned it here on Olga's SEO podcast with SEO Sly.
Yeah. So I just have a quick question. So how do you do competitor analysis? Do you use like some scraping tools like Surfer SEO or Through? There's this Through tool from Samuel Schmidt,
Through.
I think.
Oh yeah.
So how do you do that?
I use a ton of tools. We're ambassadors on a ton of tools. From SERP to SEO Power Suite to Rank Ranger to different things like that. But there's a lot of great tools that we use to just dissect down. You can do it on SEMrush. Any tools that allow you to put in the domain and then pull down all the keywords and pull down like the one that I love is, and I think SEMrush, SEO Power Suite, SERP Rank Ranger, they all have a tool, a competitor analysis tool where you put in the domain and it will give you kind of the keywords that they rank in the top for, or their top content. It's a topical analysis. And that's what I look at, meaning if I'm trying to rank for, say, Bugs Bunny paintings, I'm going to put that in and see who's the top competitor, or literally I'm going to take any one of the competitors that I find and throw that in the competitor analysis and see all of the pages. And then once I have all the pages, I'm going to throw that on my competitor sheet and analyze those pages. And when I analyze a page, I'm going to go, did they use my harmonics correctly? What did the title work? Did the image work? And any of those flaws, I'm going to note the flaws. Those are going to be ways in which I'm going to come in and attack that problem. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Meaning whatever is ranking in that top, I'm going to point out my harmonics and go, they're not providing all the right harmonics for this factor. And then when I'm going to create the content, I'm going to create the content with all those harmonics.
Okay. So how many of those harmonics have you defined? You said we can download this from your site, right? Like the cheat sheet, right?
josephscon.com.
Yeah, but if you can like name 5 top or 10 top, what would it be? So title?
Yeah. The main on page ones that really make a huge difference to anything. Now, this is, of course, backlink authority, a domain authority. That's definitely one of these harmonics. You need some sort of, whether it's your social structure, if you're using PR, however that works for because it's different per niche. That's the other thing. It's not all the same, meaning backlinking is not the same for all topics and all niche. Okay. Some niches, a lot of Shopify required more Instagram shares and different stuff like that for rankings. So those are all different. So the harmonics and the backlinks, that's definitely one of them. That's like the fifth one. The on-page factors as part of it, as we talked about, was the title, the image, and using the main keyword as recently as possible in the first paragraph. Or that's kind of the main. So to let Google know, and then of that, of course, this is like probably 101. It's not super advanced. Is just your slug has to match the keyword. So the slug of the phrase, if we're starting at the top, slug, title, alt image, first paragraph. Now, in our ranking factors, we do first paragraph, LSI, which is contextual, latent semantic, all that kind of stuff. I know some people don't like that word, latent semantics, but the natural language stuff is all in the guts, but also you want to refer back to the keyword in the outro with a CTA. Google loves CTAs. And then the links within, that's also a factor. So from our on-page perspective, it's really simple and easy. Like we'll rank pages, even that page that I showed you, just took all these main basics. The basics will rank your page if you add the other flair, like any of the backlink authority or any kind of, I call it social juicing. If Google thinks there's excitement of going around a content, it's going to rank it really fast. You just have to earn its position. Meaning you can get a quick ranking, like I showed you that example, but based on hitting all these blocks, because their AI bot, keep in mind, what we have to keep in mind is their AI tool is just a computer program. So all we're doing is just gaming against whatever that program is. So what does their robot look for? The title, the slug, meaning we just have to follow what it does, and it will rank you based on those basics because it's going, this page hit all the basics for this keyword, so it deserves to be at the top. But the only way it stays at the top is if it gets people liking it, sharing it, excited about it, linking to it, etc. That's the way it earns its keep. Does that make sense? Authority can push you there automatically, meaning if you have a lot of authority, you will get there without hitting these harmonics. Just like Billy Joel can show up to our stage down here in Carlsbad, and 1 million people will try to get to the stage, even though he has a harmonica. And would probably sound like horrible. But see, that's because he's Billy Joel. That's the equivalent to the domain authority.
That's a great analogy, really. And where do you stand on keyword density? Like,
if you're asking me from a scientific and my 25 certifications perspective, I would say under 2% is the right answer. Meaning if I was writing the test.
More interested in whether you believe in that, whether you try to optimize for it.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you that we do look at it. Several semantic tools. I use LSI Graph. I'm really liking their semantic writer because it'll kind of look at the density and keyword density and stuff like that. But I can honestly tell you that there are a couple of pages or a couple of sites that we rank really well for that are up like 8% in the keyword density, which is a huge no-no. Okay, that's a huge no-no, but it's ranking well and it's not going anywhere and I'm not touching it.
That's my experience too. That's why I thought I would ask you.
Now, when we target new pages, the semantic writers flag us for going over 2%. Yeah. So, but if I put some pages in there and it's like 8%, I'm like, oh man, like, but we're ranking for those pages. But here's the difference. I think it's relevant to, just like everything from backlinks to, it's relevant to the topic. And I think topics like digital marketing and SEO require a lot higher density. Okay, so if you're writing for SEO and you're not saying SEO 25,000 times in your article, it won't rank.
But if you're optimizing for some long tail keyword which is like 6 words, then probably putting it like 500 times won't make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that exactly. So the density is based on not super huge long tail. Like if you went 8% on a really long tail, that would be kind of weird. But
Yeah.
it might work though. The scary thing is that that actually might work.
Yeah. With long tail, yeah, usually you don't
Hmm.
need to do a lot to make it work or rank.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
I don't think you would be in trouble of stuffing if you were over 2% in your long tail.
mm-hmm.
I think it would be bad SEO if I was grading it as your teacher, but I would want to test it to see if it actually worked, because in theory, I think it could actually work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just not going to work if there's other content around it. It's all based on, again, who's at the stage. Is Billy Joel at the stage, or is your local guitar player at the
Yeah.
stage? You know what I mean? And can they get away with it? Because if you have authority, you can get away with a lot.
A lot. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
if you don't
exactly.
have authority, you have to follow every little thing. You know what I mean? You have to, and you can still compete with the big guys and girls if you
Yeah.
do follow all the rules.
Yeah, I've noticed.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I
Yeah. Which is,
started, yeah. Yeah,
go
when
ahead.
I started my blog in 2020, I had like zero authority. This was a brand new domain with zero, zero
Right.
DR or Ahrefs rank, whatever. And I was like, all I could do was do on page very, very well, and I was able to really outrank a lot of big sites just because
Oh,
I
yeah.
made sure this is working okay, and it brought me links, and my authority has increased a lot since that time. Okay,
Yeah.
so now
And
let
you
me
created great linkable resources. That's a
yeah.
great tactic. Yeah, you have a lot of resources that are great to link to, especially beginner sites and different stuff like that.
Yeah,
Um,
I was ready to like keep building that for 5 years or something before even something starts to happen, but it started to
mm,
happen way earlier. So
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
very happy
definitely.
about that.
Yeah, that's great.
I
That's
didn't have
amazing.
to wait 5 years. Okay, so can you now tell me more about your company? I know the last time we spoke, you told me something about it. So where is it based? What you do? Of course, you do Harmonic SEO, but can you tell me more about this?
Yeah, I don't know if they can see the little logo, but that's a little logo with the little
Yeah.
bird. Humjam is the name of our digital marketing agency, and we started again at the beginning of the pandemic, basically to provide SEO. But it became much more, because once we dove into it, we started understanding. My background was building websites and then becoming a Microsoft developer, and so once we got into it, I noticed that this optimization required rehosting people. It required redoing their website, meaning we rehosted Chuck Jones. We redesigned their website. We moved them from Magento to WooCommerce. We integrated Salesforce using Zapier, meaning all of a sudden we were like, whoa, we're doing way more than SEO.
Yeah.
So why are we doing so much? Well, because I'm a zealot, and I'm excited about everything. So I'm like, well, I already know server stuff. And then Core Vitals came out. I'm like, wait, that's me. I know server stuff. I know how to make servers fast. I'm a Microsoft guy. I used to be a server guy. So when Core Vitals came out, I'm like, that's why SEO is perfect for us, because we know how to
Mm-hmm.
we know how to do the web design. And so we started creating all of this HumJam, and the harmonics is everything together, meaning we not only harmonize your SEO, but your social media, your email
Mm-hmm.
marketing campaign, anything based on your marketing campaigns, your messaging to your client, your product packaging and delivery. Everything has to be in harmony for the clients to take action. So we became growth specialists. So HumJam
Mm-hmm.
is now kind of not just an SEO agency. We have a Harmonic Growth Club, where we're a monthly club where
Wow.
people come and we teach and we train now agencies. So we didn't mean to do that. That became an accident. Once I started training and teaching in the market, now other people are like, can you show us how you're doing what you're doing? And can you come and teach our team how to do it? And we also need email help. And we also, do you know anybody who hosts anywhere? So we created Nestbox Hosting. So we now have a hosting company. We now have, Nestbox Hosting is our hosting company. So all of our clients now go to our hosting company that gets super fast Core Vital scores. It's all based on Core Vital, because our hosting, the reason why we had to do hosting is because now you need to use our plugins for SEO, because there were so many clients that we were looking at or whatever. It was a hodgepodge from using Yoast to using all different kinds of stuff. It's like, no, if we're going to get you the results we need to get you, we have to standardize on plugins, on hosting, on meaning we got to, it's not just on page factors. It does include server speed. It does include ranking authority and social media and messaging and all that kind of stuff. So that's where HumJam came from. Meaning HumJam was, this is not just SEO anymore. We're looking at optimizing everything. That's like coming into a house and going, your plumbing is off, okay? But so is your electrical, so is your roofing, so is your flooring, so is your, and we're like, crap, we need to fix all of that. How do we fix all of that? And that's where HumJam came from.
Wow. So how many people are there?
Probably about 10.
Oh, the last time we spoke, I think, so you grew.
We were at 5. Yeah. We're now teaching some agencies. We have.
Yeah. So tell me more about this. Since
you and I talked, we're now weekly teaching agencies that are bringing 20 or more teams from Philippines. One team that we're working with is an outsourced team in Philippines, but we're kind of teaching them ClickUp, which is how to manage everything with multiple teams, and then using our SOPs that's built on these harmonic factors. So the harmonic factors, again, from when you're writing content to all that, we basically blended all that into ClickUp, which is our project management tool, with SOPs and things that deliver all these. And that's what we're doing right now, is training other agencies and their teams on running all of everything that we're talking about on this call. Meaning, you want to do an SEO campaign like we're talking about, where you're starting with writing the song, meaning from the first harmonics, all the way through the completion to the ranking to people attending and showing up and sharing. That's all within our ClickUp project management, SOP delivery, all that kind of stuff, where teams can just plug in and get the work done. It's all automated too. Wow. I'm an automator. So the reason why we use ClickUp is, say the person is done with the keyword research and they click next phase or done with the research, it automatically assigns that to the person in that chain for them to go look at it. And it's already attached for them to look at it. And then when they create the brief for the person who's going to write it and mark it to the brief, it automatically assigns that to the brief person and connects that, where we're using Surfer, where it sends out the brief to do the on-page or whatever. But then the person who's doing the research writes all the notes of what I was talking about in the harmonics, so that the person who writes the blog entry has the notes, has everything. And then when they're done, that gets marked again in ClickUp, and ClickUp will then send it to the next phase to review it. And then that person will then go through the ranking factors on a checklist that's built into ClickUp. And then anything that they don't do, it's all timed. So if they don't do it within, say, a day or 2 days or whatever, it sends the manager a message saying, hey, Olga is slow on this task. You need to follow up with her. I don't know why she's taking her time on these keywords, but this all happens automatically now.
Yeah, I have been using ClickUp when I was still working at the agency, but for my own purposes, I use Asana. So, but to be honest, with
does
ClickUp,
Asana do automations?
I don't think so.
Oh, that's the killer. But the automations are just insane.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Okay, so we're selling a template for that. That's one of the things that that we're in process of again testing through these agencies. We're testing it, and we're going to actually be offering it. So any agencies using ClickUp, our harmonic ranking factors that automate everything, we're selling a whole package for that will just plug right into ClickUp. You plug right in your teams, that you fill out a form that will plug in your teams, and then we'll execute the whole, get from keywords all the way to sharing and monitoring. It's all built into it.
Wow.
That's
So
what we're going to deliver for within the. Hopefully, we're targeting before Black Friday.
oh, yeah. So when Black Friday is coming, when?
At
It's
the end
like
of November. It's like
at the
kind
end.
of,
Yeah. Sorry, I always like.
yeah.
I always confuse the end of November, so we still have some time. I'm not sure what date it is now when the podcast is being launched, but
Right.
I think
Right.
it's November
Yeah,
probably. Okay,
definitely.
so if I am the agency and I want to use this training, what do I do?
So we are launching, like, it'll be before Black Friday, but we're already within next week. We're gaining other partners like you that want to promote. We're doing a 5-week agency SEO training. It's called agencyseotraining.com. We just grabbed agencyseotraining.com, and it's for smaller agencies. The agencies that we're doing weekly training for, it's a higher price point, but it's customized to their agency, customized to their team members and that kind of stuff. But we're delivering to everybody a DIY. So if you're a solo agency or an agency that's just building your new team and using ClickUp or want to use ClickUp or project management, where it has all the pieces in this harmonic template that we're talking about that covers all the ranking factors to everything that you need is all in this package, will be on agencyseotraining.com, and that's going to be a 5-week DIY. We're going to deliver the first part live, but it'll be an evergreen where you can always ask questions or whatever, and then maybe yearly we'll deliver it live to cover any new changes for the year or whatever. But we're going to be delivering the first live on this at the end, again, probably December 1st, so that we cover training through the holidays here in the US, because a lot of people are bored and doing nothing. You might as well be learning how to get your agency kicking butt in 2023. So we'll be launching it live on December 1st, and then we'll be training it live through December, and then the first week in January we'll be setting up ClickUp to dominate 2023. That'll be the first week in January of 2023 in this course. And we're launching that again the end of towards or Black Friday is kind of when we're trying to go, but the course will start on December 1st. I think December 1st is a Tuesday, but then we're training to learn all of these harmonic ranking factors, from getting backlinks to on-page factors to off-page factors to everything that goes in our harmonic formula is included in that 5-week course that's on agency.
Okay, and how many factors are there in your formula?
We do 5 main buckets, but in those 5, there's probably 5 of main things that we cover. So it's not like there's just 5 that, but there's 5 main harmonics that we cover. That's why it's 5 weeks. And the fifth one is just monitoring, really, because monitoring, we believe, is a factor in that recency is a factor. In that if something happens today and you do something about it today, will help you tomorrow, than if you do nothing about it for months. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then try to do something about it. So monitoring is also in there, and that's the 5th week that we cover, is the complete setup, monitoring, using tools to monitor, is all in that. So
okay.
It takes us 10 weeks to deliver it to an agency, to the agency. Okay. It takes us 10 weeks because the agency is involved in the process really heavily. But in this course, you'll be involved on your own in a DIY standpoint, if that makes sense. So it'll be economical. I think we're going to make this economical for solopreneurs and smaller agencies.
Maybe I'll give it a try. No.
Cool.
Okay, so a few questions about yourself. I still have.
Yes.
So I see you're, as you said, you're learning a ton. So what your day looks like? Like, what do you do when you get up? What do you do? Is it like every day the same, or do you like follow some formula for a successful day? How
I
does
do.
it look like?
Oh yeah, that's definitely a great question. I again tools guy, so my activity list is queued by ClickUp. So that kind of I use AI to do all the easy lifting for me. So meaning I don't
Mm-hmm.
like to waste my brain on remembering stuff. So I use ClickUp for task reminders or reminders. I have ClickUp to use docs as notepads or journals or whatever. So it's real fast for me to get to a journal. It's real fast for me to think about an idea. It's real fast for me to do that because I have my tools, on my phone, on everything. I have it where I can just press a button and add a note, add a whatever. And it's all in ClickUp, meaning I don't have to go, where is
Mm-hmm.
that? Where do I find that? Oh no, I can't find something. Everything's all in the same place. It's all in there. And even emails that I want to go in there. So there's another tool called Sunsama. I don't know if anybody uses this, but it's another tool that integrates ClickUp, email, Gmail, and your calendar, and you can have independent tasks that are separated from all that, and it makes sure that you plan your day, end your day, plan your week, end your week. Like it's kind of, when you're asking me about how do I make sure my day is working properly, it's this one app that makes me, I can't end my day without planning the next day. It makes me plan.
Oh,
And but it integrates with ClickUp. You can look at your ClickUp tasks and drag it onto the day. You can look at your calendar and go, okay, that goes on to the day. Like this meeting was on my Sansama today that I had a meeting, because it knows that you could say, I need 15 minutes to prepare before and after. So it tracks all of my time. So it tells me that I have to do that. And then I go, well, then I have all these other tasks. So every day I plan the next day at the end. And then when you shut your laptop down, that's it. You're supposed to be done. You're not supposed to go back. You're not supposed to check email. You're not supposed to do any of that. You're done. And because you plan the day before the next day. So I always plan the next day at the end of today. You know what I'm saying? Using
that,
Sansama. And then when I wake up, I meditate. I do yoga. Sometimes I walk
mm-hmm.
to the beach because we're like 8 minutes from the beach
Oh,
here in San
that's
Diego.
nice.
I know. Yeah, I know. So sorry for me. Right. So sometimes we're walking on the beach in the morning, but we definitely meditate every day. So meditation has
For how
got to be
long?
there. 10 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, because I'm
Um,
just starting this out. Yeah,
okay.
I'm
Wake
getting
Up
into
is
the
an app.
habit.
I'm an app
I
person.
use
Wake Up.
heads. I use Headspace.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, we used to use that one. Wake Up is a Sam Harris app that I'm
Uh-huh.
using now, but
Okay.
that's kind of what we start every day with, is the meditation app, and then yoga. Like what my partner says I do is not really yoga. It's more stretching. But I do stretching and stuff like that, and then meditation, and then we walk or exercise or whatever, and then I click on Sansama, and then it says, here's your first task. And literally
Okay.
I just go and click. And so I like to look back on the day, and it says, here's all the things you accomplished.
Yeah.
And I love to see my to-done list. You know what I mean? Like, oh,
Yeah. I love
look at
it
me.
too.
Yeah. Look at my to-done list. I'm getting all this stuff done. And so then you
Yeah.
plan the next day. And if anything didn't get done, you just drag it to the next day. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And it keeps track and goes. And what Sun Summit will say is that you had 5 tasks that you backlogged this week. Like you need to think about that. Like it will tell
Mm-hmm.
you overworked this week. Did you realize on Thursday you spent 11 hours that day? Like it will tell you. It will keep track of your time. So that's the other thing I like about it.
So
It's
what's the
independent of
name of
ClickUp.
this tool?
It's called Sunsama.
Yeah, because I use like 3 different tools. I use Asana for tasks. I use Clockify to measure my time, to see how much I work. But these are
That's
like separate
Sunsama.
things.
Sunsama is like the thing that you were mentioning. But
Like,
it integrates ClickUp, Gmail, and your calendar, and any independent tasks you may want to add. Is called Sunsama. I think it's
if
sunsama.com. Yeah,
you can send me a
sunsama.com.
link, I will add it to the notes. I hope it integrates with Asana as well. That would be.
I think it does actually. I think
Oh,
it integrates with
a lot of probably tools.
ClickUp wasn't the only one. ClickUp's like a new player in the game, I think, because
Oh,
Asana I think was around a lot longer
yeah,
um, than ClickUp.
yeah. I may want to try this because this is also what I've been trying to do, like making sure that at the end of the day I have the next day planned, or that I'm dragging the things I haven't done to the next day.
Oh yeah, exactly. Asana is in there. It has
Oh,
Asana. It has Notion,
oh,
Asana. It had ClickUp. It has GitHub. Even it's got
oh.
things. So anywhere that you as a professional may have tasks, it's like a unified task manager,
Mm-hmm.
time manager. Like you were using the time manager. That's what I use to manage my time. Is Sunsama.
And
Because it
because it has,
integrates with all
yeah,
those apps.
yeah. Okay, I will give it a try. Okay,
Because I
so
noticed that I had tasks in email and I had tasks in ClickUp and I had tasks, and so this allows, and then I had my own that I didn't want to add to ClickUp. Like I had my own tasks that I didn't want to add to ClickUp. So where do I track those? And so I was finding myself using
yeah,
so many apps. So using one app to do it all made it way easier. And then if I'm managing a project, I know that if I'm managing my time, then I could drag that into my time that's independent. I don't have to look at the whole ClickUp unless I need to,
yeah.
or unless I need to manage it.
I'm
So,
definitely giving it a try because yeah, I also have a
okay,
bunch
cool,
of
cool.
different. Yeah,
Yeah, you'll
okay,
like it. I think you'll like it a lot. Yeah, hopefully
yeah.
that'll be helpful to the listeners
I
too that
think
that are
I
managing
do.
multiple things. Mhm.
Okay, so a
Especially,
couple
and
of
that's the kind
yeah,
of stuff that we're talking about to these solopreneurs, small agencies, things like that, is how to be way more effective and how to automate ClickUp and how to
yeah,
automate all these tasks and make it real easy to do.
yeah. Great.
So it's a lot of fun.
Okay, I have a bunch of final questions,
Yes.
which is like, what do you think is the? I think you have probably said that, but maybe you will come up with something different. What do you think is the area of SEO that we should be focusing on more, and why?
Um,
Or maybe you haven't.
Yeah, no, the interesting thing, and I may say something different than when you originally asked me, only because what I'm getting into right now, and I think Google is addressing it right now, is AI, the usage of
Mm-hmm.
AI. And I was just talking with two of my partners this week even about when I started 2 years ago on the certification path, AI wasn't there. There was no AI tools. AI is a recent movement. The AI and all the copywriting. I mean, how many times is an AI writer coming out in the market?
Yeah.
Like one a day, two a day? Jasper, I think, was the original one, and then
Uh-huh.
once it came out, the
So
boom.
that is like,
S-
yeah,
Yeah,
everywhere.
there's so many, so many, so many, so many. So that's the main thing that I'm focusing on right now is AI tools. I'm looking and focusing and thinking about, and I think Google's a little scared about it too, is AI. Is I'm really focused on how is that going to affect my SEO? How can it help my SEO? How can I use it? How can I prevent other people from attacking me with it? Like, what are my defensive, offensive? What are my
Uh-huh.
strategies? What are the tools out there? Can I become friends with any AI creators or tools that are out there? That's how how I work. I'm like, are there any influencers in that space that I can become
Uh-huh.
friends with? Because AI, in my opinion, it wasn't here 2 years ago, and now it's taken over the space. So
Yeah.
you better watch out for it.
Yeah.
Meaning, if people are scared of their jobs right now in SEO, AI is one of those things. Remember, accountants used to have jobs until Quicken came out. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
accountants used to, in a business, you had 12 accountants for a company, and then the software came out, and now you have one that runs the software. So
Yeah.
imagine an SEO person running AI, not running 50 people.
Mm-hmm.
That's the scary part of it. Okay, but it's also the opportunity part of it for leaders and people who want to be in the space and want to know how to control that space and have it work for them instead of work against them. That's where I would focus. Meaning
Yeah.
that's the only thing I'm focused on because it came in so fast and it dominated really quickly. And when I see stuff like that, my brain, my eyes
Yeah.
open up and go,
Yeah.
well,
Me too.
I better watch that. If I'm not looking at that, I'm dumb. You know what I mean? Like I'm not being like that is hitting the space really hard. And I think everybody's
Yeah.
feeling the impact of it.
That's a great piece of
especially
advice.
writers. Imagine the
Writer.
life
Yeah.
writers. Yeah, imagine their life, how much that's changed.
Yeah, definitely. Now they need to simply know how to operate an AI tool. Will need to know instead of
Exactly.
writing.
Yeah. Instead of being an accountant who understands credits and debits,
Yeah.
you're going to have to understand which buttons to press. Not credits and
Exactly.
debits. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, another
You're not going to have
question.
to know
So
ranking factors anymore. AI is not even going. You're not even going to have to know ranking factors. AI
yeah,
will already be pre-programmed with it. That's
yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
trying to do. I'm trying to create a robot that's got all the harmonic stuff already plugged in, and then
Mm.
it will crawl your website and tell me everything that's not harmonically sound.
Okay.
That's an AI bot.
Yeah.
Shh, don't tell anybody.
Okay, I won't. I will edit this out. Okay, so a tip for someone who is just starting out in SEO, what would you
Yeah.
advise them to do?
Especially go to SEOsly.com for sure.
I like
And
that.
that is the first step, only because you have such great resources for beginners, people that are starting right out in SEO. Um, your resources are amazing. So anybody who's definitely starting out, and even advanced users, there's a lot of good checklists on there that are great advanced checklists too. But anybody just starting out, there's a lot of great beginner resources there. But the easiest thing, and besides seeking out people like you, is just going to Google, the Google Garage, and looking and seeing what they're just follow their beginner advanced. They have SEO training right on Google. Okay. A lot of
Yeah.
people got angry about their videos. Remember, their video came out and said that this was a ranking factor, and everybody got really angry because
Yeah.
they were like, this is not a ranking factor, Google. And then
Yeah.
Google pulled that video off
Yeah.
of the training. You remember
I
that?
remember. Yeah. It
But
was
for the
about
most
keyword
part,
density, I
it
think.
was
Yeah.
about keyword density. Yeah, and that became a thing. But for the most part, that training is sound. Besides
Yeah.
that one incident, because it's watched like a hawk by SEOs. The fact that that became a thing shows me that SEOs are watching that like a hawk. They're watching that
Yeah.
training. They're making sure it's sound. And so that's where I would send all my beginners. And that's the most boring thing you can send a beginner to, is 60 web pages of this Google Doc.
Yeah.
But everybody who comes onto my team has to read that as their first
Yeah.
assignment,
Definitely.
because it
Okay.
has
And
all of the basics covered
yeah.
in the Google document itself.
Yeah, exactly. And some advanced tip for advanced users who are 10 years into, what would you advise them to do? Some secret you have.
The advanced users, the secret, I don't know if it's a secret as much as I started implementing it and using it after learning it at SEO Rockstars.
Mm-hmm.
So SEO Rockstars is known to have advanced people, and I learned it from I think his name was Clint, really well known, which was the idea that I could use, and I didn't know that I could, but once I started using it, it had a massive impact, was multiple pieces of schema code in different places of my webpage. Meaning, most
Uh-huh.
people think that schema code should be in the header under the JSON area of your code, but I found out that Google will even leverage and give you higher ranking factors. And I hope somebody's going to argue with me, I know, on this podcast. But again, Clint Butler, that was his name,
Uh-huh.
and I tested it, and it actually worked for Bugs Bunny painting, which was actually putting the schema code by the element itself, meaning put the
Uh-huh.
schema next to the image element and next to the video element. If it's a schema video element, worked out better than
Okay.
putting it in the header of the page. So
Oh,
test it your own. Don't test it on something that matters, but test it and see if it doesn't work for you. But that was something that I learned a year ago, and it actually is still working today, was relocating your schema code
mm-hmm.
in different areas of your page. And a lot of people aren't
Okay.
even using schema,
Yeah.
and everybody should. That's definitely in part of the factors that we leverage is schema, because that's easy, low-hanging fruit.
And you have the schema course from what I remember,
I
right?
do. Yep. I have a schema course on Rank Ranger and the schema
Yeah.
certification on Rank
Yeah.
Ranger. I'm
Great.
teaching that.
Okay, now it's time
But
to
I'm
give a
not
shout
teaching
out.
what I just told you. You asked for a secret. I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
teaching that
Okay.
on.
Okay, noted.
This is
Now it's
new.
time for you to do a shout out. Who do you think from the SEO community we should be following and we may not be following still?
SEO Chatter blog. The word is blog is one of my favorite guys. Actually, I just look at me giving him even a shout
Oh,
out. I just bought his
mm-hmm.
book. Like, here's his book. It's called Keyword Accelerator. He's
Accelerator.
a great guy. He's like an ex-coach. You know, he's like a high school teacher kind of guy, and he's got some
Oh,
great courses. He teaches on-page SEO, the best beginner on-page SEO course I have ever seen, and I even review it on humjam.com, that course,
mm-hmm.
and with really good success. But the actual course is good. This is SEO Chatter blog, and it's Stephen Hockman. If you're looking up the name in Amazon or whatever for the book,
Yeah.
Keyword Accelerator was
Oh,
the book. But great guy,
nice.
and people should follow him because he tweets all day long. Like, that's all he
Oh,
does. Yeah.
okay. So we'll definitely link him in the notes. And the one final question: where can people find you? Where can people follow you? Where can they connect with you?
Yeah, connect with me at bio.josephkahn.com. That's going to connect you to my Twitter, to my YouTube, and every social that's around is /Joseph S. Kahn. So YouTube /Joseph S. Kahn, Twitter /Joseph S. Kahn, Facebook Joseph S. Kahn, on and on and on, Pinterest, and if you're unsure, just type Joseph S. Kahn at the end of any URL ever. And no, I'm kidding. Actually, like I'm on Gotcha. I'm on Gotch. I'm on Rank Ranger. I'm on Surfer. I'm on, like, literally, like, there's all these main tools that also have /Joseph S. Kahn too. So
Okay. And
Joseph S. Kahn is on everything.
Okay, and you've recently launched the YouTube channel, if I remember correctly, around the same time as I did, right?
Yes.
And in YouTube, it is also the same handle.
YouTube /Joseph S. Kahn.
Okay.
Yeah, you're way outranking me on that. Like, but I'm going to be coming at you with it really hard and sharing you too.
Oh.
I mean, I'm just barely, like, yeah, I know I saw you just super skyrocket, but you had a big list. Like, you're working on that where we weren't working on that, but
yeah.
Meaning you went really fast. Like, I was like, look at her go so fast. But that's
it is
good.
kind of now going way slower, but I hope with the new episodes, because I was publishing a lot through for about 2 months, and I had to, like, slow down, and it slowed down as well. So now I hope to catch up again.
I just recently did some reviews for LSI Graph. That's kind of what's on mine. So most of what's on my channel is tool reviews, like, and teaching the schema course is also on my SEO Power Suite course. Courses for beginners and stuff like that you can get by my channel, YouTube channel also.
Okay.
That I've done. So.
Okay, so thank you. It was very, very nice talking to you. I really learned a lot, and I hope you will follow up with links to all these things we're talking about. I will add them to the notes.
Awesome.
And yeah, thank you. And yeah, if there's any final thing you can say, just do it.
Oh yeah, I would say make sure to follow SEO Sly on YouTube, get on her list because her newsletter is amazing. So thank you, Olga, for having me on this call. It was amazing. I've been a fan from the beginning and following you from the beginning. So definitely stay on her list and you will learn SEO. Like, you can't help but be exposed to all of the right people being on her list and following her from Twitter to her blog or whatever. And this new YouTube channel, I'll be looking out for all the podcasts coming up too, because I know you have some good stuff coming up. So so do that. So that's what I would recommend anybody, just getting started, to make sure to stay tuned to Olga with SEO Sly for sure.
Okay, so thank you, and see you next week. Bye.
Bye. See you.